Process theology and politics, aiming at a politics of inclusion. Process theology believes that there is a deep moral and spiritual arc to the universe. Following Theodore Parker, process theology believes that the moral and spiritual arc of the universe aims at inclusion, aims at justice, aims at expanding human rights. Process theology is profoundly democratic in spirit. If experience is universal, if divine inspiration is universal, then everyone is touched, everyone experiences holiness, everyone deserves respect and needs to be included in the decision-making processes of their communities. Democracy is the affirmation of diversity and pluralism. Democracy is expansive, expanding decision-making to include as many persons as possible. The attempts to limit voting, the attempts to marginalize people or to have unequal polling sites go against the spirit of democracy. Democracy aims at fullness of participation. Now, the moral arc is, in terms of politics, the quest for the more perfect union. The moral arc, the spiritual arc, says that we need to grow. We need to change. We need to try our best to welcome everyone at the table, even people with whom we disagree. This means, this table welcoming, this table fellowship in democracy means affirmation of otherness and sacrifice for the greater good. This means that those in power need to let go of their stranglehold on power and share it with others. That education and economics need to be more fully distributed. That everyone truly has the opportunity to grow. A politics of inclusion affirms our truth and advocates for our truth and challenges untruth and injustice. It also recognizes our limitations. It's humble in spirit. It looks for truth in differing positions held by persons of good faith. And people of good faith can disagree about important issues. But persons of good faith can also look for a pathway that moves us forward, a common ground. Sometimes it isn't perfect, but it may be, as the philosopher Whitehead says, the best for the impasse. And so process theology invites us to be affirmative of the democratic spirit. Let us listen to one another and hear many voices, especially those that have been excluded or those of whom have felt excluded. Process theology encourages us to aim toward the far horizon and yet take one step at a time. Let us welcome as many persons to be decision makers as possible. Let us see pluralism, diversity as grounded in divine generosity, divine inspiration, and not a fall from grace. Let us see the divine in everyone, and even when we challenge each other, to see the holiness in one another, to go beyond the politics and religion of the binary, the in and out, the saved, the unsaved, the lost and the found, to see that there is something of God in everyone, that God touches everyone, and that we can, in partnership with God and others, be God's companions in healing the world. Then we will have a life-supporting politics, a politics that uplifts, that includes, that grows, that responds to the challenges of our time and brings healing to our world.